Now I'd like to bring onto the virtual stage Neil from Aquafed, and Neil's going to talk us about the International Federation of Private Water Operators. So Neil, would you please so kind to join us in the virtual presentation room and share with us your presentation today?
Great. Good morning, everyone. How are you doing? So I'm going to tell you really quickly about Aquafed, which is the International Association of Private Water Operators. It's like an association or club, essentially, right? So next slide, please. Thank you very much. So essentially, you guys are all the very clever people and the innovators and, the people who are working wonders. What I'm here to do is what Aquafed is here to do is really connect you up with essentially the private operator companies who are my members, and I'll show you who they are in a second. And they operate about 10% of the world's market overall in terms of utility provision. So there's that connection value, I think, that we have, but also our connections with the international policymaking scene and the regulatory and legal scene as well, which I think are equally as important, because all the good work you're doing, what we need to do is kind of feed that up to ministers, and we have these connections, and we're able to present your work directly to them. So it's that access and discussion with decision makers. Thanks for moving the next slide on. Very quickly, Aquafed's been around since 2006. We've got members in every continent. Our members include the kind of big global giants, Veolia and Suez, but we've also got really small members in say, the Philippines, for example, Francophone West Africa as well. So it's a real mixed bag of members, and it's still growing despite COVID and despite all the challenges we've got economically. Aquafed is still going at the moment as well. So, but again, it's that connection to decision makers that we feel you need, and to give you that platform and that leverage to talk and get your business over the line and get contracts signed. Next slide, please. Thank you. Yes, it's a very simple business model. There's nothing complicated about how we work. You pay your money, you come in, basically. It's simple as that. And the tariffs are based on your revenue size, essentially, is how you come in. But you can see here that the types of members we have, Suez and Veolia, I'm sure you've all heard of them. They're our founding fathers, but we've got big companies like Aqualia in Spain, we've got Chileans, Remondis, and two Filipino companies as well, just as an example for Balibago and Metropack. So it's that real mix, that geographical mix that we provide for you. Next slide, please. Yeah, so this is what I was talking about earlier. It's about leveraging what you do and all your successes into things such as the United Nations circuit, World Water Council, the Sanitation and Water for All partnership, which is particularly useful at giving us direct access to ministers and decision makers, and at regional level as well in countries all over the world. And it's a chance to promote your work and promote your case studies. So you see, look at the pictures there. That's one of our members on the left working in that really fancy chair in Niger, in West Africa. The next one is I think it's in Jordan. That's the big wastewater plant, and it goes on, and it's making that connection between what's happening on the ground and policymakers in reality. So it actually, what you see is international policymakers making more business-friendly regulations and more policy, basically, and the fact that they listen to you. That's the other thing we're trying to do, is get your voice heard, because otherwise they're going to these people hang around in a kind of theoretical, academical space, and they need a huge dose of reality, which Aquafed provides certainly for them. Next slide, please. It's very simple. This is the boring bit, I guess. It's just like we're actually based in Paris. That's where the Secretariat is, and where we are. We're a kind of association under French law, but we crucially have these UN and kind of European Union and other types of accreditation. So we're officially part of the system and can be officially your voice to the powers that be around the world. Next slide, please. Yeah, again, just to mention these partnerships, and ironically, the Sanitation and Water for All partnership, the chairman is former Australian Prime Minister Kevin Rudd. So I don't know if that's a good or bad thing for some of you to know, but I thought I'd just mention that. But like the World Bank here, the OECD, World Water Council, we're talking and we're leading in these organisations every day, and I feel that it's really for you guys who are doing some brilliant work on the ground in Australia and all over the world. This is your fast track, I think, to getting these types of people to hear you and listen to you and to know what you're doing. Next slide, please. Yeah, so I think it's two things what I'm asking you to do here. come on board with us if you can as members, which would be really, really good. And we can work something out. But equally, it's just working with you as stakeholders together to help get your voice heard and connect you up with the our members who are these private operators who are working on contracts all over the world. Thank you very much.